Hi, everyone. Today I want to talk about what you can do when you're in the middle of trying to figure out how you're going to build your author platform. I'm still trying to figure it out, so I don't have all the answers, but I have run across a couple of problems. One of those problems is that earlier this year, probably right around the inauguration and the new government starting up, there was a lot of rollbacks of DEI, and a lot of companies followed suit. And so there were a lot of boycotts of companies, especially big tech companies, but other places like Walmart and Target, and particularly Amazon. And that is tough. That's tough for a lot of people because Amazon is so prevalent for anybody who's a writer, whether you're traditional or indie published. A lot of us rely on Amazon, some a little too much, but we all definitely use it. Now, I personally haven't shopped in Walmart since 2019, I think. And I went in there for something and they didn't even have it. So I walked out. And there is no Walmart closer to me. The closest is probably like 45 minutes away. And it's one of those like express Walmarts. So I don't shop at Walmart. I do shop at Target, but I have pulled back from Target, um, just kind of in solidarity. But it is tough, especially if Target carries like the one thing that you really need or the one thing you always use. So you kind of have to just go in and get that. But, that's hard in Target. Sometimes you go in for one thing and you walk out with 10 things and you're like, what the heck? What did I spend money on? So I've been doing my best to not go to Target all that often. In fact, most of this year, I have just been just less buying. Period. I talked previously about decluttering. So why do I need to buy more stuff? I'm getting rid of stuff. I don't need any more stuff. But Amazon is kind of different because for a lot of people who are writers, they rely on Amazon. And for better or for worse, Amazon has made it very convenient to buy your favorite authors. My friend Jennifer Ryan, who is a New York Times bestselling writer, she has published several books, and I will go into my local Barnes and Noble, and they won't have them. I have to order them, even though she's a big time writer. But there's only limited shelf space, and if you um, aren't popular with that particular Barnes and Noble or that manager doesn't know to order that book, then copies don't get ordered and you have to order them online. I cannot tell you how many times I've walked into that store and searched for somebody, didn't have it, and the people were like, "Oh, well, we can order it for you." And I was like, "Well, I could just go and order it myself. Like, I came here so I could get it immediately." But nope, I had to order it. So, yeah, Amazon has kind of dominated being able to get your favorite writer right there. And if you're somebody who needs large print books, or you're buying somebody who's a poet or an indie writer, it can be really hard to find that on the shelf. And so most of us just go to Amazon to buy it and support that person. I've had a couple of people publish through small presses. They're not on the shelves at Barnes and Noble or Busboys and Poets or Politics and Prose, which is a great independent bookstore near me. They're not there. I have to go and I have to order them. And in the past, before we did all this boycotting and stuff, I would always try and order from a charity or a small press or a small publisher, not publisher, a small bookstore that had their listing on Amazon. So I would go to the marketplace and I would just order it through a third party seller. And that way I felt like, I was giving some of the money to a charity if it was a used book, or a smaller press. And that was kind of my workaround. But as someone who publishes through Amazon her ebooks, the stuff that's been going on with Kindle, not being able to download books, and uh, the boycotting, I don't want to encourage people to break that boycott just because they want to support me. So I've been thinking a lot about a workaround and what I could do to to encourage that. Now, yes, there are other platforms you can publish your ebooks on. Draft to Digital comes to mind. Book Baby, I think, also does digital print stuff, and there's a few others. Um, but I'm thinking that I am going to utilize Substack because my ebooks are short stories. I put my short stories up on Amazon as Kindle books after they've been published. And even if there's one even that's never been published, and I just self-published it. I think that I'm going to create a paid tier on my Substack, and I still have a free tier that will put out, my newsletter, but I will also have a paid tier where you can get the free stuff and you will have access to all of the short stories that I put up there. And I think that's the way that I'm going to go. So I'm saying this because if there's other people who are watching and they're like, I don't know what to do, I rely so much on Amazon, blah, blah, blah. Think about utilizing a paid tier on your newsletter service, or a paid tier on your blog, or however you contact people, so that that's how they can access your stories. I never really thought I would have a paid tier on Substack. I just thought everything would be free. But now I'm thinking that that's probably a really good way to go, because not only would people who pay, a small monthly fee, I wouldn't charge a lot. It would be like $5 a month or something like that. But not only would that be great for people who want to support my writing and don't want to use Amazon, but it's also good for folks who want to have access to all the stories and they don't want to pay for each individual one. They can just subscribe and pay the monthly fee, and then every story that I put up that's on the paid tier, they will be able to read. And Substack has a app on your phone, so they could just pull it up on their phone and read it while they're on the train or on an airplane or whatever. And right now, I don't have too many people subscribed to my Substack, so I don't expect to start raking in tons and tons of money. But in the future, I plan to keep publishing. I plan to, finish this book and get this book published and write more books and write more stories. So I think now, while my following is small, it is probably a good idea to just get it done now, set it all up now, so that in the future, I don't have to turn around and go, oh my God, what do I do? How do I figure this out? No, I'm just going to do that. I will eventually figure out how to upload some things to other e-readers. I do have a Smashwords account, and so I believe that they publish on a format for, like, I want to say like 20 other e-readers, like Kobo and Nook and iBooks. But that's not for right now. Right now, I'm going to set up a paid section of my Substack, and that will have all of my short stories. I'm still going to leave my stuff up on Amazon, because realistically, not everybody's boycotting Amazon, and some people might just buy books, but they're not going to buy other stuff. Who knows how it's going to go. Um, but it is good to have your stuff on other platforms. I've seen some other creators talk about this, and it is really important. And it was something that was on my mind. Like, yeah, you should self publish on some other places, Ingram Spark, Draft to Digital. Um, definitely those are things that were on the back burner for me to do. But since I already have a Substack and it's already like set up and everything like that, I think I'm going to start utilizing that for my short stories. And eventually, hopefully one day, it'll have novel excerpts, it'll have book cover reveals, it'll have um, you know s- exclusive things, so it won't just be stories. It'll be other things too, along with my paid tier, which will basically be the same as what's on my blog, but it's just more convenient for some people to read it on Substack. So those are my thoughts. That's where I'm headed right now. Hopefully, this month in April, I will set it up. So, um, look out for that if you're interested. And I have some days off here in April, so I'm going to be very busy doing all these things. And yeah, we're going to start the spring with new ideas and hopefully some more stories that will get accepted. I talked about this before, but I finished another short story. So, yeah, I'm excited. And hopefully, you guys are having a great spring. Take care. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you all on the next video. Bye.